What's up, doll collectors, hobbyists, fabs, and besties? I'm Toya, an adult doll collector. Welcome to my miniverse. I have been watching so many I live in a van or van life videos that I want to make one in miniature. We made a camper a few years back, and I kind of want to piggyback off of that idea, but mainly focus on the inside. To the craft table, which is actually right here. Just have to move the backdrop, and we're good to go. For this project, I am using foam board. I bought 2. I don't know how much we are going to need. These were around $4 each at Target, and they measure 20 by 28 inches. I sketched a quick plan for this project. Sorry, it's not the neatest, but I'm shooting for a room that is 10 inches wide and 20 inches long. And let's make it so this wall can open up to the side in case we want to get some closer shots. And I'm thinking we might just leave off the driving area since I'm mainly concerned about the visual of this space anyway. So let's take our foam board, with it laying 20 by 28 inches, measure over 10 inches, draw a line, then cut on the line to make a 10 by 20 inch board. This is going to be our base. Let's cut a second board the same size. Let's go ahead and sketch out our floor plan. Let's draw a line 5 inches from the back for a sleeping area. Then I go over 2 inches and up 1.5 inches, and we're going to draw 2 small bookcases. And I'm adding the width of my foam board, hoping that will help me with some of the cutting later. Since this is a small space, let's use some of this area under the bed and make a drawer so we have more storage. I plan out a 3 by 9 inch eating area. Then let's have a 3-inch door. On the other side, let's plan a shower bathroom. This one is 5 inches, and then a kitchen counter area with a sink. Now that we have our plan, let's build. I take the leftover scrap of foam board. I measure the length of the counter in our kitchen. Since we planned everything out, for me, that's 7 7/8 by 2 1/4 inches. Let's sketch that shape onto our spare foam board. I sketched a 5.5 inch rectangle underneath. I go back to my plan to find the length for my sides, which is 1 7/8. I sketched out the sink and cut it out, making sure to leave enough space between the edge of the counter and the front of the cabinets. Cut out the other pieces. I have 3. I cover my countertop with a wood grain contact paper. I cover the inside lip first, wrapping it over the edge. Then I cover the top. Cut the opening and wrap the paper over the edge. And I just broke my nail. I'll be back. All right, now where were we? I take the front and side panel and glue them together. Let's cover it with scrapbook paper or cardstock. Then cut and glue together a few layers of cardstock. Cut out the center, glue it onto another piece of cardstock. I cut another rectangle, cover it with metallic paper, then glue it onto a longer piece of black paper for a faux mini fridge. Then glue them onto the front. At the top, on the other side, glue on more metallic contact paper and foam board to close it off to make our small kitchen area. Let's make 2 boxes using our measurements for the seat and some of the leftover foam board. I was able to get 1 box and a lid. Then I have 2 more pieces, which is half a box, and I have a strip. I cut the strip to the length of the counter and cover it with a wood grain paper to make a shelf. Let's cut a second piece of foam board so we can make a second box with a lid. The height of my box is 2 3/4 inches, and then we have the lid. I cover the boxes with the same blue paper, add felt to the top of the lid, then cover with fabric. Glue another square of foam board to the bottom so it can stay on the box. To make seats with storage. Then let's place them where they will go. Cut a 3 by 4 inch piece of foam board Cover it with the wood grain paper for a tabletop. Let's cut the platform for the bed, which is a 5 by 10 inch rectangle. I cut a 10 by 4 inch rectangle, then cut out the center. Covered with the wood grain contact paper, build a box. Around the opening, I add a 4-inch tall scrap to the back for balance to hold the platform. Take the platform, glue 1/4-inch strips of foam board around the edge to make a tray that we can fill with a few scraps of felt, then cover it with 1 piece of felt, then with fabric to make a mattress that will sit on top of the platform. I cut 1.5-inch strips of foam board. I cut them at 13 inches. I have 2 scraps of foam board left over, so let's cover them with contact paper, then cut them into squares. Make marks on the 13-inch boards so we know where to glue our shelves. I marked a line every 2.25 inch from the top. I glue my foam board right under the line marked, going all the way down. I cut a piece of foam board to go underneath the bottom shelf, then glue on the other side, then repeat to make 2 bookcases. Let's take more foam board, cut 2 3 by 12 inch rectangles. I'm using my tile printable from our crumble cookies video. This one right here. This printable is printer friendly. I printed mine in grayscale. If you don't want to use a printer, you can always draw this by hand using a pen and a ruler. Now we're going to glue it onto the foam board and cover it in tape. I use a ruler and a dotting tool. Line the ruler up with the lines, then trace over them with the dotting tool, pressing slightly to add a little dimension to the tiles. And now we have the walls of our shower. Originally, I was going to add some stairs right here, so you would have to take a few steps up to get into this space. However, I want to attach the seating area to a wall that can swing out, and if I did that, then they would be floating when this side was open. So I'm going to have to leave it flat on the ground. And I have to remember we are focusing on the interior and not the exterior. So let's go ahead and add the walls. I'm taking another piece of foam board. I think this makes 3. Cut 2 boards at 13.25 inch by 20. Line it up with the floor and make a mark at the end of the bed. I also take note of where I would like a door and any windows. I score a line on the mark for the edge of the bed so the wall can bend. Cut out the windows and door. I got the wall under one of my windows kind of messy. So let's add our tile printable to cover it up. I cut thin strips of craft foam and glue it around the inside edge of the window. And let's glue a piece around the outside as well. Framing the window. Let's do the door as well to complete one side. Now let's make the wall that goes behind the kitchen and the shower, where we will need more of our tile printable for the back wall of the shower and a backsplash. I also made a second shelf because I think we'll have enough space above the sink. Let's cover the floor. We need to add a little tile in the shower, then a wood grain on the rest of the floor in the areas that will be visible. I glue on the kitchen and shower wall, add the walls to close off the shower. Our room can now stand and it has some support. Let's add the kitchen counter. Take a Sharpie cap, and I'm gonna cut off the little clip and bend it. Make a second one, and we're gonna place those side by side. Make a hole behind the sink, glue in the clips to make a faucet. Let's add the shelves, then the shelving unit, and the platform for the bed. Let's take the wall that can bend and has windows, glue the 5-inch side onto the side of the bed. And we can start to see just how narrow this space is. Let's glue the other shelf onto the wall that moves, but making sure it can clear the floor. Then the boxes, I'm going to allow one box to interrupt the door. Glue the table to the wall above them, giving us an eating area with storage. Let's take the foam board that we cut for the double floor and cut it to fit the back wall. Cut out a large window, trim it with craft foam, then glue it to the back. to finish the inside of our faux van. With the sidewall closed, this is a pretty narrow space, and it's totally giving that van life vibe. But I like that we have the option of opening up the side if we need a little more room. Since it's only 10 inches wide, the doll can't stretch out completely, so you can always make it a little wider if that's something that you want. This build took me 3 days, and I'm really excited to just add more to this space, like a couple of push pins for knobs in the kitchen, and maybe some mini brands home. I picked this up at Target, and since the scale is kinda small for Barbies, some of you in the comments said it's actually a good size for dolls who live in a camper, van, tiny home, or tiny apartment. We got the nightstand again, but it was suggested that we just remove the bottom and use it as a small drawer. Are we gonna get any appliances today? We got a basket that can fit on our shelves. We can place an artificial plant inside to add a little greenery. And this is a food storage container. She can totally use this. Then we have another storage container. And the last one is, it's the vanity. But if we just went to our mini Target and picked up the microwave, we can place it in our room along with a sandwich maker so our dolls can cook a few meals. So we set out to make a van, but this could really be any kind of tiny home. It has all the basics. It has a kitchen, a bathroom, just gotta add a toilet or a shower. There's a sleeping area, lots of storage, and an eating area or office. And I can't wait to add more details. Thank you for joining us for the start of our mini van life. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and follow us on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff, the Frog Vlog, and Bella of MyFroggyStuff. And we will see you next time.